Most people think time is like a river that flows swift and sure in one direction, but I have seen the face of time, and I can tell you they are wrong. Time is an ocean in a storm.
Wow. That's quite the opening line, isn't it? Straight from the game itself.
It really is. It just grabs you immediately, and it makes you think, what if you actually held that power? The power to bend time, undo your worst mistakes, maybe rewrite fate.
Yeah, what would the cost be? Not just for you, but for everyone else. It's a heavy question.
Definitely. And it perfectly sets up what we're diving into today. We're looking at a game that wasn't afraid to ask those big questions, a title that honestly resurrected a beloved franchise and completely changed how we think about messing up in games.
We were talking about Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time.
Exactly. The 2003 action-adventure masterpiece. And our mission today is to unpack how it became such a huge deal, critically and commercially.
Right. We'll dig into the groundbreaking mechanics, the time-bending stuff, the acrobatics, but also that really human story. Trust, betrayal.
Yeah.
It kept you hooked.
And the challenges. Making it was apparently quite the saga. We'll look at that too. And of course, its legacy, how it influenced games that came after.
It really did leave a mark. We want to explore how it managed that potent mix, the action, the puzzles, this incredibly compelling story that built tension, constantly raised the stakes.
For the characters and for you, the player, it delivered something truly meaningful.
Absolutely. So let's get ready to unpack the Sands of Time themselves, find those hidden gems.
Let's do it. Okay, so let's start at the beginning, or maybe the rebirth. Spring 2001, Ubisoft picks up the Prince of Persia catalog.
Which was a big deal because, let's be honest, the series was struggling. Prince of Persia 3D hadn't gone over well at all.
Right, that game was problematic. Clunky controls, bad camera, it lost the magic.
Completely. It basically put the whole franchise on ice. So when Ubisoft stepped in, it wasn't just, let's make another sequel.
Yeah.
It was more like, can we even save this?
And the original creator, Jordan Mechner, the guy behind the 1989 classic, he was hesitant.
Very. He had poor experiences, is the quote, I think, specifically with Prince of Persia 3D. He was really wary.
So the stakes were immediately sky high for Ubisoft Montreal. They weren't just making a game, they had to win back Mechner and redeem the whole series.
And they were already busy, deep into developing Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell at the same time.
So how did they manage it? How did they convince Mechner?
They basically showed him they understood the core of Prince of Persia. They put together mock assets, AVIs, little animated concepts that really impressed him.
They showed him the vision.
Exactly. It showed their dedication, their understanding, and he came back. First as a creative consultant, just advising.
But then he got more involved.
Yeah, eventually he became the game's designer and writer, which is incredible, really. Speaks volumes about their pitch.
Definitely. And that dedication led to Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, released November 2003. And it was everywhere, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. PS2, GameCube, Xbox, PC, even Game Boy Advance and mobile phones. They had confidence in this one.
It was billed as an action-adventure platformer, but importantly, a reboot.
Right. A fresh start. Designed so newcomers could jump right in, but still had that magic for older fans. They wanted that blend, action, adventure, platforming, but not overwhelming. Accessible.
Okay, so the stage is set, Mechner's back, the reboot is happening. Now the story, how does it all kick off?
It drops us into 9th century Persia. We've got the prince, our main character, who's unnamed, traveling with his father, Sharman, through India.
Seems straightforward enough at first.
But then this traitorous vizier character enters the picture. He manipulates them, convinces them to attack a local Maharaja's palace.
Okay, so right away there's deceit, manipulation, something feels off.
Exactly. And the vizier's motive isn't just conquest. He's after something specific, something called the Sands of Time.
The Sands of Time, okay, why?
He believes they can grant him immortality, stop him from dying. So this whole attack is basically part of his personal twisted plan. It sets up this undercurrent of conspiracy from the start.
Got it. And during this attack, the prince, he finds something.
He does. He loots the Dagger of Time. Seems like just a cool trophy at the time, right? A young warrior grabbing some spoils.
But obviously, it's much more than that.
Oh, immensely more. It holds this incredible power he has no clue about yet. Classic dramatic irony for us playing.
And meanwhile, Farah, the Maharaja's daughter, she's captured.
Yeah, captured and presented as a gift for the Sultan of Azad. Seems like a standard plot point initially, but she becomes absolutely crucial.
So we've got the dagger, we've got Farah. These pieces are starting to come together. You know something big is about to happen.
The narrative does a great job building that anticipation. How will these things connect? And then they arrive in Azad, the capital city.
And this is where it all goes wrong.
Spectacularly wrong. The vizier, being the master manipulator he is, tricks the prince, convinces him somehow to unleash the sands of time from their container.
It's not an accident. He's manipulated into doing it.
Precisely. It's a betrayal, playing on the prince's youthful impulsiveness. And the result is instantaneous and horrifying.
What happened?
The sands explode outwards. They don't just destroy things, they transform people. Everyone in Azad twisted into these savage, sand-controlled monsters.
Oh, wow. So the entire city's population.
Basically, yeah. Turned into these mindless husks all under the vizier's command. And the prince, he's the one who did it.
So the stakes just went from 0 to 1,000,000. He's responsible for this apocalypse.
Exactly. The guilt, the responsibility, it hits you, the player, just as hard. You need to fix this. The scale of it is just immense. Creates this immediate sense of dread.
An entire city turned monstrous. Is anyone spared?
A precious few. The prince himself, protected by the dagger he just happened to pick up. Farah, who's wearing this special medallion.
Okay. And the vizier.
And the vizier, yeah. He's protected by his magical staff. So it boils down to this tiny, desperate group.
The guilty prince, the knowledgeable but wary captive Farah, and the villain who caused it all. Talk about tension.
It's incredibly tense. They're isolated, surrounded by monsters, and the prince is carrying this immense burden of what he did. Every moment forward is a struggle for survival and for redemption.
Okay, so the setup is dire. How do you actually play this? How do you navigate this nightmare?
Well, the core gameplay is this fantastic mix. Action-adventure, puzzle platforming. You control the prince in third person.
Yeah.
And the movement. Oh, the movement was just something else.
Yeah, I remember that. It felt so fluid. Not like other platformers back then.
Exactly. They introduced what they called contextual moves. It wasn't just jump, run, climb.
Yeah.
It was wall running, ledge shimmying, balancing on beams, swinging on poles, leaping between pillars, rope swinging.
It felt almost balletic.
It really did. These were genuinely novel to the video game medium. Compared to the stiff controls you often got, this felt like flowing, like dancing through the world. It was a huge leap in just how you felt controlling the character.
Where did that inspiration come from? It felt so cinematic.
Definitely cinematic influences. Things like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, The Matrix, that kind of stylish interaction with the environment.
Makes sense.
But here's a fun fact, a real aha moment.
Yeah.
They also looked at Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Seriously. The skateboarding game.
Yep. They wanted that sense of continuous flow, stringing moves together, using the environment like a playground. It shows how committed they were to dynamic, player-driven movement.
That's fascinating. And the Palace of Azad itself wasn't just scenery, was it? It felt like part of the challenge.
Absolutely. It was designed as the prince's playground, but a deadly one. Vast, multi-layered, and filled with traps. Spike pits, arrow traps, wall blades, saws, spinning spikes. You name it.
So you needed agility and brains.
Precisely. The palace itself felt like an antagonist sometimes, constantly testing your skills and your timing. Every room felt like a deliberate puzzle.
And you weren't entirely alone in facing these challenges. Farah plays a key role, right?
A massive role. She's not just following you around. Her AI-controlled assistance is integral. You often need her to solve the big environmental puzzles.
How so? Like, what does she do?
She might need to shoot an arrow at a distant switch you can't reach, or crawl through a small gap to open a door from the other side, or hold down a pressure plate while you navigate elsewhere.
Okay, so she's genuinely useful. But there's a catch, isn't there? A big one.
The biggest catch. If Farah dies, game over.
Oof. That adds pressure.
Huge pressure. It completely changes the dynamic. She's not just an NPC helper. She's this vital, vulnerable ally you have to protect. It creates this really strong emotional connection and sense of responsibility that was pretty rare back then.
That responsibility ties into the game's biggest innovation, doesn't it? The dagger, the time rewind mechanic.
Oh, absolutely. This is where Sands of Time really changed the game, literally.
Yeah.
The ability to rewind time. And it wasn't just a cool gimmick. It came from a very relatable place.
I heard a story about that. The director, Patrice Désilets.
Yeah. Apparently, he was playing Donald Duck.
Yeah.
Going quackers, of all things. Just a simple platformer.
Right.
And he kept making these small mistakes, falling off ledges, and having to restart the whole level. He got so frustrated, just wishing he could undo that one slip-up.
Uh-huh. I think we've all been there.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that simple wish, that frustration, directly inspired the rewind mechanic. The prince can rewind time up to 10 seconds.
So if you mess up a jump, get overwhelmed in a fight.
Or even if Farah gets hit by a trap or an enemy. Poof, rewind, try again.
That must have fundamentally changed how people played. No more throwing the controller after the 10th retry of a tough
It
section.
really did. It took away so much of that typical game over frustration. It encouraged you to be bold, to experiment, try that risky wall run. See if you can make that jump. If you fail, no big deal, just rewind.
So it made it less punishing but still challenging.
Exactly. It created this smoother learning curve. It shifted the focus from avoiding mistakes at all costs to correcting them. It was about mastery, not just survival. The ultimate second chance baked right into the gameplay.
And the dagger did more than just rewind, right? There were other sand powers.
Oh yeah, offensive powers too. You could slow down time around you, which was amazing in hectic fights.
Like bullet time.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could freeze a single enemy solid, temporarily taking them out of the fight or setting them up for an attack.
Nice.
And the ultimate one was freezing time completely for a few seconds, letting you just wail on enemies without them reacting. Felt incredibly powerful.
But you couldn't just spam these powers whenever you wanted.
No. And that was key. They were fueled by collecting sands. You got sands from defeated enemies or found gashes in the environment. These filled up your sand tanks for rewinds and power tanks for the other abilities.
So there was resource management involved, strategy.
Definitely. You had to be tactical. When is the best time to use that freeze? Do I have enough sand to risk this tricky jump knowing I might need to rewind? It added this whole strategic layer.
So the dagger wasn't just a plot device, it was core to everything.
Absolutely. It was an extension of the prince, representing his power, his burden, his responsibility, a constant reminder of what he unleashed.
Let's talk about combat then. It wasn't just platforming, you had these intense fights breaking things up.
Right. The prince uses his sword mainly, but also the dagger. And the combat had this unique rhythm.
How so? It wasn't just hack and slash.
No, you damage enemies with your sword first, weaken them, but to actually finish them off, you had to use the dagger, stab them, absorb the sands within them.
That was the only way to kill them for good.
The only way. Otherwise, they'd just get back up eventually. So every fight was this two-step process. Damage, then absorb. It made combat feel deliberate, almost ritualistic.
And the enemies themselves, they weren't just generic monsters.
No, and that added this tragic weight. They were the sands monsters, the former people of Azad, corrupted by the sands you unleashed.
Oof. So every fight is a reminder of your mistake.
Precisely. It adds this layer of pathos. You're fighting the consequences of your own actions.
The team behind this, they had a really clear vision, didn't they? I read about 4 key elements they focused on.
They did. Unity of time and place was one, the whole game taking place over just 24 hours in Azad, which really amps up the urgency.
Oh, yeah,
Acrobatics, obviously, combat, and rewind. Those are the pillars. And interestingly, they deliberately avoided looking at Prince of Persia 3D.
Pretended it didn't exist.
Pretty much. They went back to the 1989 original for inspiration, trying to capture that spirit of adventure and platforming, but in 3D.
And other games influenced them too. I heard Ico mention.
Yes. This is another one of those fascinating aha moments. The whole dev team apparently took a day off just to play and discuss Ico.
What did they like about it?
They loved the atmosphere, the feeling of that castle, and especially the dynamic between the player and the companion character, Yorda. That sense of connection, of reliance.
You can totally see that influence with the Prince and Farah.
Absolutely. They adapted it, made Farah more active than just a key, but that DNA is there. The environmental storytelling, the emotional bond. It shows how even more artistic, less mainstream games can shape blockbusters.
And the art style itself, the look of Azad.
Also, really specific inspirations. The animated film The King and the Mockingbird was a big one, especially for the layered vertical design of the palace. It emphasized that feeling of climbing, of ascending through this massive structure, plus those atmospheric blue lights, the Arabian Nights aesthetic. It created this incredibly immersive, beautiful, yet dangerous world.
Okay, mechanics down. Let's get back to the story, because that's where Sands of Time really shines, building incredible tension and emotional stakes. So the sands are out, the prince escapes, he meets Farah.
And their alliance is purely one of necessity at first. Shared survival, shared goal, fix this mess. But it's very rocky. Lots of mistrust.
Why so much mistrust?
Just the situation.
Partly, but there's more. Farah knows about the sands, the dagger's power. She's knowledgeable, which makes her essential, but also potentially dangerous in the prince's eyes. And doesn't the prince have visions?
He does. He keeps having these recurring, disturbing visions of Farah stealing the dagger from him.
Oh, wow. So that fuels his paranoia.
Hugely, and yours too, as the player. You're constantly wondering, are these visions real premonitions? Is she going to betray him, or is it just his guilt messing with his head? It's brilliant for building suspense.
That uncertainty keeps you totally invested in his mindset, so their goal is clear.
Yeah.
Get to the Hourglass of the Sands, the Tower of Dawn. Contain the sands.
Right. The urgency is palpable. They have to get there. But even as they get close, that internal conflict in the prince boils over.
He hesitates, even with the fate of the world hanging in the balance.
He does. Right at the hourglass, those visions, that doubt about Farah, it makes him question everything. His personal fear, his inability to trust, overrides the mission for a moment. It's such a human reaction under that kind of pressure.
It really grounds him. But despite all that suspicion, something changes between them, doesn't it?
It does. Slowly, organically, through everything they endure together, the close calls, relying on each other for survival, they gradually fall in love.
Which adds this whole other layer. It's not just an action game anymore.
Not at all. It becomes this deeply human story unfolding amidst the chaos. Their dialogue changes, the way they interact in gameplay. You feel that connection building. You start rooting for them not just to survive, but to be together.
There's a specific moment, isn't there, after an ambush?
Yeah, they barely escape a vizier attack and end up in this hidden tomb. It's a moment of quiet, of vulnerability after intense action. And Farah, she tells him a story from her childhood.
Something she's never told anyone else.
Exactly. It involves a made-up word, kakalukiyam. It seems small, but it's this huge step. Her trusting him with something so personal, it breaks down those final barriers.
And that leads to more.
It does. They find shelter later in this atmospheric bathhouse, a brief moment of peace, and there Farah seduces the prince. They spend the night together.
Wow. Okay, so that really cements things, raises the emotional stakes incredibly high. Seems like they've found something real amidst the horror.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
Which makes what happens next just utterly devastating. A true gut punch.
What happens?
The prince wakes up the next morning, alone. Farah is gone, and so is the dagger of time.
No, she actually did it, like in his visions.
She did. All she left him was her medallion, the thing that protected her from the sands. Trust. Shattered. Hope.
Yeah.
Crushed. The tension just skyrockets. You feel that betrayal just as keenly as he does.
Oh, man. So what does he do?
He's devastated, furious. He chases after her through the now even more dangerous palace. Finally, he catches up to her.
Just in time for more disaster.
Pretty much. She's cornered by monsters right above the hourglass chamber, driven towards a ledge. It's chaos. He lunges, grabs the blade of the dagger she's holding on.
Hitting his hand. Ouch.
Yeah, trying desperately to save her, save the dagger.
Yeah.
But then, the ultimate twist, the ultimate sacrifice.
Right.
To save him from falling with her, she makes an impossible choice. She lets go of the dagger and lets herself fall to her death.
Oh my God. That's heartbreak after everything.
It's the absolute peak of the emotional stakes. Profound loss, this incredible act of selflessness that completely recontextualizes her taking the dagger. You go from anger at her betrayal to just devastation.
And the vizier shows up then to twist the knife.
He appears, yeah. But not just to gloat. He offers the grieving prince a deal. Give him the dagger, and he'll grant the prince eternal life.
A final temptation, power versus grief.
Exactly. But the prince, changed by everything, by Farah, by his own mistakes, he refuses. He chooses death over that kind of bargain. He shows how much he's grown.
So what's left? He has the dagger.
He has the dagger. His hand is bleeding. Farah's gone. He makes the only choice he can. He stabs the dagger into the hourglass itself.
And time rewinds.
All the way back. Right back to before the attack on the Maharaja's palace. A massive, complete reset. A true second chance.
And he remembers.
He remembers everything.
Oh,
The
no.
attack, the sands, the monsters, Farah.
All right, let's see how many
their
of these guys
love,
I can
their
attack.
sacrifice.
Let's kill.
He's the only one carrying the weight of that entire
Oh,
race.
okay. Ow.
That's a
I was
heavy
busy
burden.
sucking up
And
your
then you
friend,
realize-
okay?
You
You
realize
didn't
the entire
supposed to hit
game
me.
you just played all those moments, that narration.
Give me
It
your
was the
sand.
prince telling the story to Farah.
There you go, in the butt. That's,
Whoa.
That's one
So
way
the
to
whole
finish up a
game
guy, I
was
suppose.
flashback told to her.
Essentially,
Finish it,
yeah.
yes.
He's trying to warn her, trying to make her understand, make her believe this fantastical story about a future that never happened. It's such a brilliant narrative frame.
So does he stop the vizier this time?
He does. The vizier, still planning his treachery, comes to kill the prince. But this time, the prince knows what's
Cool.
coming. He
Well, where's
defeats
the
the
other guys?
vizier,
I hear 'em.
finally stopping his
Oh.
plan before it even starts.
So,
Okay, good.
there's
But
enough
what
guy
about
around.
Farah?
There he is. Hello. Nope, don't think so, sir.
He
Give me.
returns the dagger to her.
There we go.
But she, having
Now,
no
what are you
memory of
doing?
any of it.
Oh,
She
fine.
thinks it was
Wanna
just
go
a
that?
story.
Fine, give me
Really
your sands
elaborate,
now.
crazy story.
That's what I like. Okay, this is
So
pretty
he
cool,
saved
right?
the world, but lost her.
Oh,
In a
so
way,
some
yeah.
battle, eh?
He tries to
Frickin'
bridge that gap. In
Decide
this
to help,
moment
try
of
and help
raw
a gift,
emotion.
try and become all friendly and stuff, and then what happens? Oh, you freaking annihilate his whole
Or just
kingdom.
acting on the
That's
feelings he still has.
some way to
but she rebukes him.
become friends
She
with the
doesn't
guy,
know
I
him like
suppose.
that. It's heartbreaking.
Although I
showing that
would
some things
recommend it.
can't be relearned.
I've done it a few times. It
Another
has
act
not
of
gone
faith.
over very
He
well
uses the
with
dagger
any,
one last time,
especially not the people who lost their family and
to
friends.
undo the kiss.
They were sort of
Preserve
mad.
her
Don't know
innocence,
why.
her
I mean,
timeline,
you know,
unburdened
maybe they
by
had
a
a
love
fight
she
then.
can't recall.
Regardless,
Incredibly
that's not too
so.
good.
It really
Oop,
is.
Up and
As he
over.
leaves,
Finish
gives
them
her
all.
one final
Give me your
clue.
stance and let's be
One
off.
seed of
Let's be on our way.
doubt. He whispers, "Kakulukian,"
The word from the tomb.
the secret word she told him in the erased timeline. It leaves her stunned, amazed. Just a hint that maybe, just maybe, his impossible story was true. It's such a perfect, poignant, thought-provoking. Leaves you wondering about memory, love, second chances. Absolutely masterful writing. And Mechner had a clear idea of what he wanted, right? Simple story, integrated gameplay.
Yeah, keep it engaging. Use short cutscenes that didn't interrupt the flow too much. He wanted to blend narrative and gameplay in ways that maybe seemed like they shouldn't fit together.
He even called it a
Okay,
disguised
hold on.
zombie horror story.
Done.
Yeah.
I'll start the story from
The
here
idea
this
of the
time.
Prince and Farah as the lone survivors in this palace full of undead monsters, it definitely adds to that tension.
She's like a sidekick.
And the narration serving multiple purposes.
You
Hints,
think me mad?
depth.
Right.
I can
Working
see it by
differently
the
on a
look in
first
your
playthrough
eyes.
versus a
You
replay,
think my
once you know
story
the
is
ending twist.
impossible.
Yeah.
He cited some cool
Perhaps I am
inspirations too. The Thief
Who
of
would not be
Baghdad
driven
from the
mad by
40s,
horrors
Edgar
such
Allan
as I
Poe,
have lived.
noir films like
But I assure
Double
you,
Indemnity, Sunset
every
Boulevard.
word
You can see those
is true.
influences. And Farah
think
wasn't
you're a crazy
perfect.
old
She'd
man.
sometimes shoot the prince by
Right.
accident.
Deliberately. They didn't want her to be this flawless AI archer. Making her occasionally hit the prince made her feel more real, added a bit of chaotic tension to fights. It all feeds into that meaningful relationship.
Okay, so we love the game, but making
Oh,
it
when in trouble, use the dagger.
apparently wasn't
Hold
exactly a
R.
walk in the
Hold
park. It sounds
rewind
like the
R
development
to
was
The
pretty
guest
challenging.
Oh, far
Where
from
my
smooth
father,
sailing.
all
Yeah,
our entourage,
just look at
and
pre-production,
I should
the
have
planning
passed the
stage.
night lay
They
cold
estimated
silent.
10 months. It took
The
14.
sands of time
4
swept
extra months
me,
right at the start.
stealing
That usually
life
signals
and
some early
warmth from
hurdles.
everything
Definitely.
they touched.
Burning time,
And I-
Yeah.
stretching budgets
Will
before they
unleash
even got
the
into the
demons
thick of it.
within me.
And the team itself, the pop
Were there
team,
others
was
like
mostly
me
young
who yet
developers,
clung
around
to life,
65 of them.
hiding in fear
Eager,
among the
maybe,
ruins?
but maybe less
not seem
experienced.
so.
That seems to be
Maybe.
the vibe.
Yeah. No.
They describe the mood
Oh.
as try and make mistakes.
Whoa. Okay.
Which is great for creativity, but
Hey,
maybe hints
get
at a
up
bit of
there.
chaos too.
There you go.
Especially trying to
Oh, wow,
revive
that's
a dead
this
franchise
is a
with
very
such
odd
high
bedroom.
expectations.
It's-
It sounds like
It's
a
not
real
every
pressure
bedroom
cooker.
that I
And the game's
see with
complexity must have
freaking,
added to that pressure. All those
holes
prince
in it that you
movements.
can
He
do
said over
parkour
780.
Yeah,
There
over
we
780
go.
individually
Very
scripted
nice.
movements.
Oh, hopefully this can
which sounds
support
amazing,
your weight.
and it
There you
was.
go.
But
Lucky
think
you
about the
aren't
knock-on
Batman.
effects.
Why you don't
Every
know?
time they added
Whoa,
or
okay,
tweaked
hold on. There's
one
another
move.
thing up there.
It affected
Get
everything else. Collision, animation, enemy AI.
Exactly. It was
There
this
we go.
incredibly complex web.
One step closer.
Which led to a
closer getting
major
new
headache.
Sand
Debugging,
tank.
fixing all the
Sorry.
glitches
Oh.
started way later than planned.
Meaning they were
Oh my
racing
god,
the clock at the end.
why is it
High
everywhere that
stakes
little
for
lady
Immense
goes? Like
pressure.
Had I
freaking.
really
And
seen
then,
her?
compounding
Or had
things,
my senses
the art
given way
director,
under the burden
Raphael
of horrors
Lacoste,
too great to bear?
didn't join until
Conjured up a
July
phantom.
2002.
That seems
Yeah, you
really
probably
late
would.
in the process.
I could not
for such
rest
a key
until I had
role.
found
It
her
was
again.
well into production.
Hmm.
And apparently his
Oops.
late arrival caused
Okay, let's
significant
rewind that. I don't
delays
wanna
in
die.
getting the environments built and
Well, this is our
finalized,
first
just
rewind,
adding
actually.
more
Let's
stress
try
to an
this one.
already tight schedule.
Whoa,
And the game
okay.
engine
That's
shade,
odd.
the one they also used
Alright,
for
now
Beyond
let's shimmy
Good
on
and
over.
It
And
had its
now
own
let's
quirks.
go. Eh?
It did.
How about
Powerful
that?
tools, great for editing
yeah,
and tweaking,
now-
which the
see?
designers loved.
See,
But
the
it had
temper of
this
time, it's so powerful. I can understand now why
Structural
the guy
issue
wants
for a
it.
big team.
What was that?
Basically, all the game assets, models, textures, everything lived in one single folder that everyone could access.
Uh-oh. I can see where this is going.
Jeez.
Yep. Too many people diving in at
Alright,
once.
so I
let
gotta
the
make it
data
all the
be
way over
overwritten,
there.
Files getting corrupted.
Okay.
The whole system crashing constantly.
Okay.
Imagine the frustration.
Nightmare fuel for developers.
Oh wow.
How did
that's
they fix it?
Quite easy. Jeez,
They
more
considered
freaking
this
rubble everywhere.
radical
So that
data
little
monkey solution
lady
for
keeps
simultaneous
breaking
access.
everything.
But it was too complex to implement late
Oh,
on.
bad guys.
So they set up a
Time
more
to fight.
organized system.
Oh, we got new ones as well.
File
You're
server,
a chubby guy, aren't
check-in
you?
times,
You wouldn't be able to support the
prioritizing
freaking
critical
bard's
work,
weight.
smart problem solving under
Gimme.
fire.
They also
Gimme.
had to
Give
make
me his
cuts,
sand.
right?
Can't let him
most
get back
movies.
up.
Ambition
go.
often meets reality.
Come on, out of
They
town.
actually thought about
Well,
splitting Sands
I
of
see you
Time
trying
into
to
two
prepare an
separate
attack,
games
sir,
at one
but
point,
I won't
just
have
to
it.
fit everything
I
in.
will
Wow.
not have
They
it.
didn't, probably.
Alright, let's
That
finish
idea
you
got
off
dropped
as well.
after E3.
Give me your sand.
And there was a
There
cool
we go.
sounding Griffin bonus.
Too easy,
plan.
man,
It's
too
supposed to
easy.
show up 3 times.
Actually, you know what? Let's just show off,
That
shall we?
came from the main game.
Try and bounce off the wall.
Did it ever appear anywhere?
Okay, that's not a
Yeah,
wall,
a
but
version
whatever.
of it made it into the Game Boy
Works
Advance
fine for
port.
me, just as long as
Interesting.
you kill the
So
guy.
the idea wasn't
Thank you
to-
for waiting patiently,
And
by
they
the
used
way.
some clever
You shall be
tricks, too,
rewarded with
to
a
make it
nice
feel
ass
seamless.
kicking.
They did. To get that loading
you and
free
me,
experience,
guy? Let's
which
go.
was so important for immersion,
fine.
they had to work around
There you
the
go.
engine.
Gimme.
Jade could only really render one big room at a time.
So
Okay.
how did they hide the loading between areas?
Genius
Got
solution.
my first power.
They used these
tank.
large,
I
winding,
soon discovered
S-shaped
that when I had
corridors
collected
between
enough
major
sound,
areas.
the dagger
As you ran
gained
through the
power
corridor,
to stop
the engine
time.
would invisibly
Not
unload
for
the room
me,
you just left,
but for the
and
enemy
load
I
the new one
struck.
ahead.
That's brilliant. So simple but effective.
So
A
you can
real
stop-
aha
oh, up
moment
there.
in level design.
Okay.
Totally themeless to the
Let's
player.
hop on over
And
there,
of course, they
shall we?
use motion capture
Oh, yep, turn
extensively for
around.
the characters, really pushing
Bounce,
for
now I
that
suppose we've got a wall
realistic,
jump. Yeah,
fluid
okay. See,
animation
now I'm
quality.
thinking like
The
the
sound
Prince.
was also
There
a
we
huge
go.
part of the experience. The
Daisy.
music.
Now, let's
It
see if we
wasn't
have another
traditional
psychic vision.
Persian music.
No,
Something about the
Ubisoft
games that I
specifically
play. I
asked
love
for a
psychics.
fusion.
First
Stuart
Lucas
Chatwood
Kane, and
from
now
the band
this.
The Tea Party composed it. They wanted
ridiculous.
Persian elements mixed with rock, Middle Eastern sounds, even Indian influences.
Creating its own unique identity.
Exactly. It used instruments like the Indian tabla, strings, plus these amazing vocals from Cindy Gomez and Miriam Toller. It created this soundscape that felt ancient and modern, mystical and driving. Really elevated everything.
And the sound effects. Those sand monsters sounded creepy.
Right.
It looked like I
That
was
was a
kicking ass in
collaboration
the
with
future.
Dane Tracks and
That gives
Ubisoft
me hope.
Montreal.
I'll start the
And here's
story
a cool
from here
detail.
this time.
To make the enemies stand out,
I like how he
they
passes
didn't
out
just
after
use
every single
generic
vision.
monster sounds.
What did they do?
They mixed
That's gonna get him in
organic
trouble
and
one of these
evil
days.
effects with these
Whence
faint
came these
whispering
visions
sounds.
that assaulted me
It made them
thus
feel
like
more
fever dreams?
unsettling, more
Each
distinct
time I
than
awoke
just
feeling
typical
drained,
zombies or
beaten.
undead. Really
Each time,
effective atmosphere
what I
building.
had seen
Voice
came to
acting too.
pass.
Mechner supervised
As
that
if the
himself.
sands
He
of
did.
time would
And they
give
made
me
this
a glimpse
interesting,
into my own
slightly
future.
unconventional choice. A lot of the dialogue
So
happens
he's a
during gameplay.
psychic. Oh,
Meaning you could
can't say I didn't
potentially
see that
miss
coming.
some lines if
Oh,
you were busy fighting
the other
or
way.
jumping.
Let's go.
Exactly. It was
Yeah.
a bold
Whoa.
move,
No, no,
prioritizing
this way. You're
flow
going the
and
right way,
immersion
Prince.
over
Come on.
making sure you heard every single
Wait.
word. They trusted
This
the
way or the
emotional
other
beats
way?
would land
I'm
anyway.
gonna go
Must have been a
this
lot
way.
of dialogue to manage.
A ton. Over
What the hell's
1,000
in
lines
this
written,
way?
apparently, but more than
The
half
music
got cut in
changed,
the
that's
end.
odd.
Just refining and
I
tightening.
don't think I've been here.
And the actors, Yuri Lowenthal as the Prince and
Whoa.
Joanna Wasik as Farah,
Hello?
recorded separately.
That must be tricky for
Is anyone
timing.
there?
Yeah, they apparently
this
used
place?
detailed graphs to help
I
them
have a
sync up their
feeling
lines.
I'm not in a
And
Zard anymore.
Lowenthal's performance was so well received, he became the voice of the Prince for the sequels too. That audio design really pulled it all together.
Whoa.
So the game comes out after all that work. How did it do initially? Was it an instant hit?
Actually, no. Sales were initially slow, particularly in North
Pulse being
America.
closed
Really?
off.
Why was
What
that?
the heck?
Bad timing, mostly.
Okay, so
It
that's
launched alongside a bunch of other big games,
That's not
including
normal. I don't
Ubisoft's
think I've
own
done that
Beyond Good
before.
and Evil. It's a really crowded
I've
market.
never done that in this
It
game
Highlights how
before.
risky releasing
Okay.
any game can be.
So
Oh,
it wasn't
no,
looking good
cool.
at first.
It was a
Give me
bit of a
this.
slow burn.
No.
But
Turn
Ubisoft
around.
didn't
Yeah, there we
panic.
go.
They got
Oh,
proactive,
there you go.
started
That's
bundling
what I
it with
like
other
to see.
games, offering deals.
Smart marketing.
Getting so
It worked.
close to
They
getting a new
absolutely
sand
did. It
tank.
boosted sales
What?
significantly and eventually it became a
Get
massive
down.
success. Over 14 million
Where the hell is
copies
that
sold
lady?
worldwide by
Freaking lost
2014.
her.
Wow.
Oh, there she
Found
is.
its audience.
Look at the devil.
And critically.
Critically, it was
devil's in
adored
red.
right from the start. Critical acclaim upon launch. Publications like Edge, IGN, they hailed it as one of the greatest games ever made.
And awards followed.
Oh yeah, racked them up. Game of the Year at E3 2003. Console Game of the Year. Outstanding innovation from the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences. Excellence in game design. Excellence in programming at the Game Developers Choice Awards.
Basically a clean sweep.
Pretty much. What it really meant, though, was that Prince of Persia was back. It returned the series to prominence after the disaster of Pop 3D. It proved that a bold reboot, innovative mechanics, a great
How the hell
story,
does she fit under
it
there?
could work wonders. Redemption achieved.
And its influence didn't stop there. It spawned direct sequels.
Oh,
Right,
what the
the
hell are
Sands
these
of Time
things?
saga
Oh.
continued with Warrior Within,
Okay.
which went
Oh, I don't
much
even need to
darker.
get
Maybe
this
too dark
thing
for
as
some.
well.
Yeah, that
That's
was
easy.
controversial. Then the Two
Alright.
Thrones
Well,
wrapped up that trilogy,
Take
and
that.
later the Forgotten
Oh, I
Sands
froze
game,
him. That's
tying
a new
into
power
the
that's being used.
created
Cool.
its own successful lineage.
And it used up
But
one
the
of the
biggest
sand
ripple
tanks.
effect,
Okay.
the one that's
Understandable.
truly mind-blowing for a lot
Okay.
of people,
I get the other
involves
one.
another
Whoa.
massive
And-
Ubisoft franchise.
Oh, now just bounce off.
Yes.
Oh, whatever.
Ready for this one?
No style
the
that
Assassin's
round, but
Creed
whatever.
series.
Yeah.
got the
Originated
job
out of
done.
ideas for a sequel to
Let's
Prince
have
of
some of this
Persia,
water.
The Sands of
Gimme.
Time.
Now
Wait,
I
what?
remember her.
Seriously?
Since we
Assassin's
left
Creed
Italy,
started as a
she-
Prince of Persia game.
Essentially,
The
yes.
desert, I
The initial
felt her dark
concept
eyes
was,
upon me.
let's take the Sands of
Now,
Time
here she
gameplay,
was
the
again.
acrobatics, the parkour,
She,
the stealth,
I, the
and put
only
it
two
in an open
survivors.
world. Use next-gen
Did I say
power
two?
for bigger spaces, bigger
Excuse me.
crowds.
Okay, I can see the connection there.
And narratively, they wanted to
Great.
shift from a prince who's born
only
into
three,
royalty to
Is there
someone
another
who
guy?
has to,
Oh,
you
wait,
know,
no,
fight
I
for
understand.
justice from the
Yeah,
shadows.
he's talking about the guy
that
who
plus research into historical
unleashed
secret
it and did
societies
that spell. Well,
like the
I
assassin.
Led
unleashed
to
it,
Assassin's
but the
Creed.
guy who
Wow.
did the spell
Did it have a
put it up
working
there.
title?
It did.
He must
Prince
be
of
anyway,
Persia.
so that's what I think.
Assassin.
No way.
I don't
That's
think
incredible.
it's
The
up
DNA
there.
is
I'll get
undeniable
up
once
there.
you know
Yeah.
that.
Totally.
Up, down.
And even
Whip.
conceptually, think about the Animus in Assassin's
Alright.
Creed, the
Can I go
device
through
that
these
explains
doors?
why you can relive
Nope.
memories
Alright,
and how
turn
failure works as desynchronization.
Yeah.
Damn it.
That came from the same kind of thinking as
Camera.
the Dagger of
I
Time,
accidentally did that, but whatever,
finding a
I'm like,
narrative
that's the
reason
game,
for
can't I?
gameplay mechanics, like retrying or rewinding. It's a direct conceptual link.
Amazing. And Sands of Time even influenced later Prince of Persia games, too.
It did. Aspects of its design, especially that Prince Farah dynamic, clearly influenced the 2008 Prince of Persia reboot, the one with Ilya. Its legacy is just
Okay,
huge.
yeah.
And that
that's-
legacy is still
That's
evolving
a book
because
case, yes.
there's a remake.
What about it,
There
sir?
is.
there
Announced
anything
back
important about it, or is
Ubisoft
you
Forward
just like
2020,
books?
initially developed by Ubisoft Mumbai and Pune.
But
Actually, it might
then
have been a
development
cupboard.
shifted.
Yeah, in May 2022, it was taken over by Ubisoft Montreal, the original
The
studio.
hourglass.
Yuri Lowenthal
What?
is even back voicing the prince.
That sounds promising, but the announcement wasn't smooth. There was some controversy.
I did not
There
understand
was.
the
The announcement
meaning
trailer
of what I
got
had
quite a
just
bit of
seen.
criticism online.
But
Fans
I
felt the
knew
graphics looked
with a certainty I could
well,
not explain that those
lackluster,
winged
not up
creatures
to
had a
modern
master.
remake standards.
Ouch.
The man who
How did
tricked me
Ubisoft
into opening
respond?
the hourglass
They defended it
now
at the
had
time
his
as an
prize.
intentional, unique visual
For some
style,
unknown
but it
purpose,
definitely
coveted
highlighted
the
how
dagger as
tricky
well.
remaking
Would
beloved
stop
classics
at
can
nothing
be.
to possess it.
Balancing nostalgia with modern expectations is
I
tough.
would
The
give
stakes
him
are high.
this.
And it's been delayed
I
a
would
lot.
plunge
boy,
it
has
into his
it.
foul and
Originally
treacherous
January
heart.
2021, then March 2021, then postponed
Ooh.
indefinitely. They
Like,
skipped
sounds like a
2022,
plan,
2023.
sir.
Now,
Let's
finally,
go kill that guy,
confirmed for
shall we?
2026.
Killing
Wow.
your well, actually, he's
That's
not
a long,
dead,
troubled road
technically.
for a
He's just
remake.
sort of turned
It really
into
is.
sand.
It speaks volumes
Actually,
about
has he turned into sand, or
the
did he die
challenges,
during
the
the
pressure
process?
to get it right.
I'm not quite sure
It's almost
how
like the
it
remake
works.
itself is going
Do
through
they
its
turn
own
into
series of
sand
rewinds
always,
and
or is it like
setbacks.
sort
That's
of like
actually a
50-50
fascinating
shot?
way to look
Do they
at
do
it.
or they don't?
The remake's
I'm not
journey
sure.
mirroring
Oh,
the
okay.
prince's own struggles,
I made
trying
it.
to find that
Cool.
perfect path, that
Mold
redemption.
bugs. All right,
Exactly.
let's
it
go.
proves how
You and me,
timeless
man.
those core themes
All right.
of the game
And
really
where's your
are.
friend?
Hashtag
Nope,
tag
too
it
easy.
out.
That's it.
So we've journeyed through Azad,
Oh, well.
fought the sand monsters, rewound time,
Let's get
felt
this.
the love, the betrayal, the sacrifice, Prince of Persia.
One step
Sands of
closer.
Time.
Soon it
really
shall
was
be
more than
ours.
just a game, wasn't it?
Ours.
Absolutely. A masterclass in blending
Okay.
story and gameplay, a technical
Okay, so
marvel,
just like to
and
judge where you have
clearly
to go
a
on there, you just
catalyst
have
for
to
huge
jump
things
when
in
you see the
industry.
shadow.
It showed us that even
cool, I
with huge
suppose.
mistakes,
Alright.
maybe there is
Come
a
on, don't
second
miss.
chance.
If you're brave
There
enough
we
to
go.
take it, yeah.
But
I'm
as the prince
badass.
learned, even
Okay,
with the dagger,
Prince.
some
Now we
things
head
can't be unwritten.
Oh, good head.
Trust,
Up,
shared
okay.
history, the emotional impact,
Alright.
those ripples remain.
Which
Then
leads to
we'll
a
be able to
final
head
thought,
down if we
maybe.
go up.
After
Whoa,
exploring
no.
all this
Head-
power,
go back
the
up.
ability to
Okay.
rewind. If you could
I
rewind
wanna
one
keep
moment in
reversing,
your
damn
own
it.
life, knowing it affects everyone, not just you.
Good up.
Heavy
Yeah, there we
question.
go.
What would you change?
All right.
And maybe
Whoopsie
more
daisy, that was
importantly,
my bad.
What
Now I've
unforeseen
wasted two
consequences,
sand
things you
tanks
can't
just
rewind,
trying
would
to
that
freaking
unleash?
Yeah.
live.
And what does it
Oh,
really
there
mean
we
to
go.
learn from a mistake if you
Nice
can
job,
just
Prince.
erase the
Alright,
mistake itself, erase
this
the
way.
lesson?
Whoop.
Deep thoughts to end
Don't
on.
die.
Makes you appreciate
Do we
the hero of
really need to
time.
hug onto that
Maybe
thing?
so.
Damn it.
Well, thank you for
Get off
diving
it.
deep with us
Get
today
this.
into this incredible game. We hope it inspires you
Sweet.
to play it again or
Got a
just
new
think
one now.
about,
And it, oh, it
well,
also
sands
filled
of
up
your own
our other
time.
one.
Thanks
That's
for listening.
nice of it.
Until next time, keep exploring.
All right.